Your soulmate is finally ready to tell you the truth. Don't scroll, listen to this, because if these words are on your screen right now, it is not an accident, not a coincidence, not a random flick of your thumb. This message is for you, and your heart needs this right now more than you've admitted even to yourself. Something in your spirit has been unsettled lately, a soft trembling beneath the surface, a pressure behind your ribs that comes and goes like a hidden tide, and you've been wondering why. You've felt memories rising out of nowhere, emotions hitting you in waves, dreams that feel too vivid, too specific, too symbolic to ignore. You've been sensing someone thinking of you, someone pulling on your energy, someone who once held your heart in their hands even if for a moment, and whether you pushed the thought away or leaned into it, the connection has been getting louder. Don't scroll, your spirit called this in. The universe is trying to get your attention because someone tied to your soul, someone whose energy you once recognized without needing words, someone who disappeared into silence or confusion or hesitation, is finally ready to speak their truth, and that's why you've been feeling this emotional pressure building inside you. They're closer to confession than they have ever been. Listen to this, you've been seeing signs for a reason. 1:11 when your mind drifts to them. 2:22 when you feel torn between letting go and holding on. 4:44 when your chest gets heavy. 5:55 when you sense that something is shifting behind the scenes. These signs have been trying to prepare you for a moment your heart both fears and craves, the truth. Their truth. The truth they hid out of fear, out of confusion, out of wounds that existed long before you stepped into their life. Don't scroll, because this part is going to hit you deeply. They didn't pull away because they didn't care. They didn't go silent because you weren't enough. They didn't distance themselves because the connection lacked meaning. In fact, it was the opposite. You awakened feelings in them they didn't expect, didn't understand, didn't know how to hold, and instead of leaning in, they panicked. Instead of choosing transparency, they chose retreat. Instead of saying, "This scares me because it feels real," they said nothing at all. And that silence became the wound you carried. But listen, your heart needs this. They've been carrying the weight of that silence too. They've felt guilt sitting heavy in their chest. They've replayed moments they wish they handled differently. They've caught themselves remembering the sound of your voice, the softness of your presence, the comfort of your energy. They've been haunted, but not in a painful way, in a way that pulls them toward growth, toward truth, toward healing. Their awakening has been slow but deep. Something or someone has forced them to face the patterns that ruined their past connections, the emotional walls they built so high even they couldn't climb them, the fears that kept them from letting someone genuinely care for them. And maybe they didn't choose the awakening, but life chose it for them. Loss. Loneliness. Realization. Dreams that shake them awake. Signs that appear too perfectly timed. Conversations that echo your words. People mentioning things that remind them of you. They can't escape the truth anymore, their heart still remembers yours. Don't scroll, you need to hear this. They weren't emotionally ready for you then. But they're getting ready now. Ready in a way that feels different. Ready in a way that isn't rushed or panicked or confused. Ready in a way that comes from clarity, not chaos. Ready in a way that maturity demands. They're finally understanding what they feel. They're finally recognizing what this connection is. They're finally realizing what you meant to them, what you still mean, what they're afraid of losing forever if they don't speak now. Their silence is cracking, their walls are crumbling, their heart is opening. And you've been feeling that shift, you just didn't have the words for it. You felt their energy closer than usual, their emotions tugging on your intuition, their thoughts echoing into your dreams. You felt moments of overwhelming emotion that didn't feel like your own. That's because their soul has been whispering toward yours. Preparing. Aligning. Leaning closer. And the universe brought you to this message so you would understand that you're not imagining it, you're not making up the signs, you're not holding on to something that's dead. Don't scroll, your spirit waited for this confirmation. The truth they're ready to tell you isn't something small. It's not a surface-level apology. It's not a casual, hey. It's something deeper. Something emotional. Something vulnerable. Something that takes courage they didn't have before. They're ready to tell you why they pulled away, why they acted cold, why they were scared, why it hurt them too, why they kept their feelings hidden, why they chose silence instead of honesty. They're ready to tell you that you mattered, more than they let on. That they cared, more than they showed. That they loved you, more than they admitted even to themselves. Don't scroll, listen closely. The reveal hasn't happened yet because the universe is preparing both of you. Preparing them to speak. Preparing you to receive. Preparing the moment to align. And when it happens, it will feel sudden but destined, unexpected but familiar, emotional but healing. The truth is coming, and your soul already knows it. Don't scroll, listen to this, because something inside you has already sensed that the energy around your connection is changing, and the universe needs you to hear every word that follows, because this message is for you and your heart needs this right now more than you realize. You've been carrying a tension you don't fully understand. A heaviness that rises out of nowhere, a wave of emotion that hits you at random times, a quiet thought whispering someone's name even when you're trying to move forward. That isn't nostalgia, and it isn't coincidence. It's alignment. It's spiritual energy moving. It's your soulmate preparing to release a truth they've held inside for far too long. They've been battling with themselves, with their fears, with their regrets, with the memories that keep resurfacing no matter how hard they try to bury them. They keep remembering the way you looked at them, the softness you offered, the patience you had, the way you understood what they weren't saying. And every time they remember, something inside them cracks a little more. Don't scroll, because what I'm about to tell you will make your spirit feel seen. They weren't ready for the depth of what they felt for you. They weren't ready for the way their chest tightened around you. They weren't ready for the way your energy felt like home. They weren't ready for the way you awakened parts of them they'd avoided for years: vulnerability, honesty, accountability, love. They didn't know how to hold something real without fearing they'd ruin it. And because they didn't know how to protect what they felt, they ran from it instead. But running from love doesn't make it disappear, it only makes it grow louder where it matters most, in the soul. And lately, that soul has been screaming for you. Don't scroll, because your intuition has been hearing those silent screams. You're not imagining the sudden tightness in your heart, the random urge to think about them, the emotional warmth that flickers inside you when you're quiet. You're feeling them awakening. You're feeling their longing. You're feeling the truth they're preparing to speak. They've been going through what can only be described as a spiritual reckoning. Life has been pulling them into isolation, reflection, truth-seeking. Their emotions have been overwhelming. Their dreams have been vivid. Their signs have been constant. They've seen 111 right before reaching for their phone to message you. They've seen 222 during moments of emotional conflict. They've seen 444 when thinking about your protection. They've seen 555 when realizing they must change. And each number hits them like a message, because it is one. The universe has been telling them, you need to say what you never said. Listen to this, don't scroll, because your soulmate has been experiencing a level of emotional clarity that frightens them. For so long, they convinced themselves that staying silent was safer, that distance would make their feelings fade, that distractions would help them forget. But something shifted. Something cracked open inside them. Something reminded them that they never truly let you go. They tried, but they couldn't. They tried moving on, but no one compared. They tried ignoring the connection, but every attempt only reminded them of how strong it is. They're realizing now that they lost something rare, something meaningful, something divinely aligned, and that realization has been hitting them harder and harder. Don't scroll, because this next part is the moment your breath might catch. They've been thinking about reaching out. Not in a vague, maybe one day way, but in a real, trembling hands, I can't hold this in anymore way. They've stared at your name on their phone. They've typed messages and deleted them. They've written paragraphs they'll never send. They've rehearsed what they want to say out loud, pacing in their room, running their hands through their hair, fighting the battle between courage and fear. And every day, courage gets louder. Every day, fear gets smaller. Every day, the truth becomes harder to suppress. They're feeling drawn to you, not out of loneliness, not out of convenience, but out of a soul-level recognition of what you meant to them and still mean. Don't scroll, because your heart has been waiting for this confirmation. They're afraid you won't feel the same anymore. They're afraid you've healed past them. They're afraid your silence means you've moved on. They're afraid they hurt you too deeply. They're afraid the truth they want to share will arrive too late. And yet, they're still preparing to share it. Because the pain of holding it in is finally greater than the fear of telling you. They've reached the edge of a transformation. They're shedding old patterns. They're confronting their shadows. They're growing into someone who can finally show up the way you deserved from the beginning. And that's not something they're doing because they think it will win you back, it's something they're doing because the universe forced them to grow. Forced them to wake up. Forced them to see the connection for what it always was, real. Spiritual. Fated. Don't scroll, this part will speak directly to your soul. You're about to feel a shift. The energy between you is tightening, aligning, preparing. You might feel pressure in your chest. You might feel warmth in your hands. You might get chills for no reason. You might dream of them again. You might hear a song that feels like a message. These are not coincidences. These are spiritual signals that the truth is nearing the surface. Something is building. Something is breaking open. Something is being revealed. The moment your soulmate steps into honesty is approaching, and your intuition already knows it. Stay open. Stay centered. Stay receptive. What's coming is emotional, powerful, and divinely timed. Their truth is finally finding its way to you. Don't scroll, listen to this, because what you're about to hear will speak directly into the part of your heart that has been aching for clarity, and if your chest feels tight or your spirit suddenly feels alert, it's because this message is for you and your heart needs this right now. You've been sensing something shifting beneath the surface, an emotional pressure building in the unseen, and that's because your soulmate has reached a turning point they never imagined they'd reach. For so long, they lived in denial of their feelings, denial of the connection, denial of the impact you had on them, and now the universe has forced them into a moment where truth is the only path forward. They can't run from themselves anymore. They can't bury their emotions anymore. They can't pretend they don't feel you, don't miss you, don't think about you, don't replay the last moments you shared. Don't scroll, because here comes the part your intuition has been begging to understand. They've been experiencing an emotional awakening so intense that it has shaken their entire perception of love. They used to believe they had to protect themselves at all costs, that vulnerability was weakness, that opening their heart would only lead to disappointment or loss. But something about you broke through that armor. Not by force, not by pressure, but simply because of how deeply your presence touched them. You didn't just show them affection, you showed them a version of love that felt safe, honest, compassionate, and real. And real love, the kind that speaks to the soul instead of the ego, terrified them. It made them pull back even while their heart leaned in. Listen to this, don't scroll, because their silence was not rejection. Their distance was not disinterest. Their hesitation was not a lack of emotion. It was the opposite. They felt so much for you that it overwhelmed them. They felt so drawn to you that they didn't know how to exist inside that kind of emotional intensity. They felt so connected to you that they feared losing you before they even had you fully. They were afraid you would see their flaws, their broken parts, their unhealed wounds. They were afraid they'd disappoint you or hurt you. They were afraid you'd realize they weren't as strong as they pretended to be. But now the universe is refusing to let them hide behind fear. Don't scroll, because this next truth is powerful. They've been hit by a wave of realizations that won't let them rest. They're recognizing where they sabotaged the connection. They're acknowledging the moments they acted cold because they were scared. They're admitting to themselves that they miss you. Not just your presence, but your spirit, your energy, the emotional safety you represented. You brought something into their life that no one else ever has. You made them feel seen, not for who they pretended to be, but for who they truly were beneath the defenses. And now their soul is craving the version of themselves that they were when they were connected to you, open, hopeful, alive. Don't scroll, your heart needs this next part. They have been wrestling with memories, with regrets, with the things they wish they had said. They've been asking themselves why they walked away, why they shut down, why they chose fear over honesty. And every time they look back, they see the truth more clearly. They weren't ready for you then. But they're becoming ready now. Life has humbled them. Their emotions have softened them. The universe has shaken them. Their dreams have reminded them. The loneliness they tried to outrun has returned them to the truth. They're becoming aware of the connection again, not as a fleeting moment, but as something soul-level, something meant, something guided. Don't scroll, because you felt this shift too. You felt someone thinking about you intensely. You felt sudden waves of sadness that didn't belong to you. You felt moments of longing without a logical trigger. You've woken up with their names sitting on your heart. You felt a strange closeness in the spiritual realm, even if nothing is happening in the physical. That's because their energy has been reaching for yours. Their spirit has been calling out. Their emotions have been traveling through the cord that connects you. And whether you meant to or not, you've been responding. You've been feeling their awakening inside your own body. You've been sensing their truth even before they speak it. Don't scroll, this next part will make your soul tremble. They are preparing for a moment of honesty. A moment they once believed they'd never be brave enough to face. A moment where their truth spills out not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. They are reaching a point where the pain of staying silent is greater than the fear of becoming vulnerable. They're reaching a point where losing you feels more terrifying than opening their heart. They're reaching a point where they know they must come forward. Not to restart the past, but to clear it, heal it, honor it. The universe is aligning circumstances, timing, emotions, synchronicities to push them into honesty. And when they finally speak, it won't be shallow. It won't be casual. It won't be something they say lightly. It will be the truth they've carried in their chest, the truth that kept them up at night, the truth they never stopped feeling. You may not know this yet, but something is shifting in your favor. The connection is waking up. The truth is rising. The emotional blockages are dissolving. And your soulmate is closer than ever to revealing the words your heart has longed to hear, the words that will finally bring clarity, healing, and understanding. Don't scroll. Something is coming. Something honest. Something emotional. Something meant. Don't scroll, listen to this, because what you're about to hear will touch the exact place inside you that has been unsettled, longing, confused, and quietly hopeful all at once, and if you feel chills or your breath shifts even slightly, it's because your heart needs this right now and your soul recognizes the truth rising in these words. The emotional pressure you've been feeling lately. The heaviness in your chest, the sudden waves of emotion, the quiet moments where your mind drifts back to someone you thought you'd finally let go, was not random at all. It's because your soulmate is going through a spiritual confrontation so intense that it's spilling directly into your energy field. They are being pushed to face themselves in a way they've avoided for years, maybe their whole life. They are realizing the consequences of their silence, the weight of their distance, the pain their hesitation caused both of you, and instead of pushing it down like they used to, they're being forced to feel it. Deeply. Fully. Relentlessly. Don't scroll, because you need to understand this shift. They used to run from their emotions, but now their emotions are chasing them. They used to control their feelings, but now their feelings are controlling them. They used to avoid truth, but now truth is cornering them. And every layer of awakening they go through brings them closer to confronting what they felt for you and what they still feel for you. They're seeing now how rare your presence was. They're remembering the way you listened to them, the way you made them feel safe, the way you understood their silence better than most people understood their words. They're realizing that your energy wasn't just comforting, it was healing. You weren't just another person in their life, you were a mirror, a catalyst, a spiritual turning point. And they didn't know how to handle that. Listen closely, don't scroll, because this is the part they've never admitted even to themselves. They felt something for you that scared them because it felt permanent. It felt destined. It felt too real compared to everything else in their life. They weren't used to someone who saw through their walls. They weren't used to someone who didn't love them for their potential or their image, but for their soul. That kind of love demands growth. It demands truth. It demands emotional maturity. And they weren't ready. Not then. But life has a way of giving the same lesson over and over until it's learned, and the universe is now showing them exactly what happens when you walk away from something meant for your soul. They're feeling the emptiness of not having you around. They're feeling the loss of your energy. They're feeling the emotional echo of everything they never said. They're questioning their decisions. They're questioning their pride. They're questioning why they thought suppressing real feelings was safer than embracing them. Don't scroll, because this next part will resonate in your spirit. They've been receiving signs too. Songs that remind them of you. Numbers that show up when they think of reaching out: 111, 222, 333. Memories that pop into their mind when they least expect it. People saying things that sound like messages from the universe. Dreams where you appear, not as a fantasy, but as a truth trying to surface. These signs aren't coincidences, they're guidance. And your soulmate is finally paying attention. They're beginning to realize that the connection between you wasn't imagined, wasn't one-sided, wasn't temporary. It was spiritual. It was purposeful. It was written into their journey long before they understood what soul ties were. And now the weight of that realization is pushing them forward. Don't scroll, your heart needs this. They're slowly reaching the point where holding the truth inside is becoming painful. They're feeling a pressure building in their chest every time they think of you. They're feeling remorse for the way things ended. They're feeling longing for your presence. They're feeling an urge to tell you everything. What they felt, what they feared, what they hid, what they regret. And the universe is aligning this moment so perfectly that even they can't ignore it anymore. Life is giving them emotional triggers designed to wake them up. Situations that remind them of how they treated you. Conversations that mirror your connection. Encounters that replay their mistakes. And through all of this, one truth keeps rising: they still care. They still feel. They still think about you in ways they can't explain. And they're starting to understand that their silence didn't protect them from heartbreak, it created it. Don't scroll, because you've been feeling their awakening too. You felt sudden waves of emotion that weren't yours. You felt moments of heaviness that faded as quickly as they came. You felt a tug in your intuition, as though someone is trying to reach you energetically. You've even felt moments of calm at odd times, like a spiritual reassurance before something shifts. That's not imagination. That's the energetic bond between you signaling change. A reveal. A release. A confession. Something that has been hidden is coming to the surface. Something that was buried is rising. Something that was silent is preparing to speak. Don't scroll, this is the moment your soul has been anticipating. Your soulmate is closer than ever to stepping into truth. And the universe is preparing you emotionally, spiritually, intuitively for what's coming. Stay open. Stay aware. Stay grounded. A truth long overdue is making its way toward you, and the moment it arrives, everything will make sense. Don't scroll, listen to this, because what's about to flow into your spirit will answer questions your heart has been quietly asking, and if you feel your pulse shift or your breathing slow down as you read, it's because this message is for you and your heart needs this right now more than you've realized. Something in the spiritual realm is reaching for you, nudging you, urging you to pay attention, because your soulmate is stepping into a stage of emotional truth they've avoided for so long that even the universe has grown tired of their silence. They are reaching a moment where everything they've been suppressing is rising to the surface, demanding to be confronted, demanding to be spoken, demanding to be shared. They are beginning to crack open in ways they never expected, and the feelings they once buried to protect themselves are resurfacing with a force they can't control. Don't scroll, your intuition has already picked up on this shift. You felt the strange waves of energy, the random moments where your heart suddenly feels heavy, the nights you lay awake sensing something you couldn't explain. That wasn't anxiety. That wasn't imagination. That was the energy of someone who still loves you trying to break through the spiritual fog. They've been feeling pulled to you, drawn to you, magnetized by memories of you, and it's as if every moment of their day now carries a small echo of your presence. They think of you while they're driving, while they're showering, while they're lying awake at night trying to understand why they can't let you go. Listen closely, don't scroll. Because the universe is about to reveal the emotional truth they've been hiding even from themselves, they never stopped loving you. Not for a moment. They tried to numb it, distract it, silence it, push it away, but their heart refused to listen. You left an imprint on them that no one else has touched. You awakened a part of their soul that had been asleep for years. You made them feel seen, understood, valued, wanted. And even though fear made them run, love is pulling them back. They're realizing now that the emotional distance they created didn't heal anything, it just deepened the ache. The silence they chose didn't bring clarity, it brought confusion. And the pride they clung to didn't protect them, it cost them something irreplaceable. Don't scroll, because this next part will shake something inside you. They've been reliving the connection in their mind, not small moments but the ones that mattered. The look in your eyes when you cared for them, the softness in your voice when you comforted them, the way your presence made them feel safe in a world full of uncertainty. They've been thinking about what they should have said, what they should have done differently, how they could have held on to you instead of pushing you away. These thoughts aren't casual, they're consuming. They're shifting their behavior, reshaping their intentions, guiding them toward the truth they've avoided. They're starting to understand that they didn't lose you because the connection faded, they lost you because they weren't ready to be the version of themselves the connection required. But now the universe is preparing them. They're being shown their emotional patterns. They're being shown their mistakes. They're being shown the truth behind their fear. They're being pushed, spiritually, emotionally, intuitively, toward growth. And that growth is leading them back to you. Don't scroll. Your heart needs this revelation. They've reached a point where pretending no longer works. Pretending they're fine. Pretending they don't care. Pretending the connection was temporary. Pretending they've moved on. Every lie they told themselves is unraveling. Every emotional wall they built is cracking. Every excuse they made is dissolving. And beneath it all, the truth has been waiting patiently. They still love you, and they're finally ready to stop hiding it. They've been seeing signs everywhere: your birth month, your initials, your favorite number, songs that remind them of you, phrases you used to say, places you once talked about. Even people around them have been unknowingly triggering memories of you. The universe is surrounding them with reminders, pushing them to acknowledge what they've been trying to ignore. And these signs aren't random, they're preparing them for the moment they finally speak. Don't scroll, because this is where the shift intensifies. They're becoming aware of your absence in a way that hurts. Not just missing your voice or your presence, but missing the emotional connection, the spiritual bond, the comfort they felt around you. They're realizing that no one else understands them the way you did. No one else mirrors their soul the way you did. No one else sees them the way you did. And that realization is breaking them open. They're beginning to understand that what they had with you wasn't replaceable. It wasn't casual. It wasn't fleeting. It was divine. It was meaningful. It was guided. And they walked away before understanding the magnitude of it. Don't scroll, keep reading, because you felt their shift inside your own heart too. You felt the tug, the emotional pull, the memories coming back in waves. You felt the dreams that felt more like messages. You felt the sudden moments of warmth in your chest. These are signs that your souls are aligning again. The energetic bond is reawakening. The connection is resurfacing. And something big is approaching, a message, a confession, a reveal. A moment where everything hidden becomes visible. Everything unclear becomes clear. Everything unsaid becomes spoken. Your soulmate is preparing to step into a version of themselves that can finally meet you where your heart has been waiting. And the universe is preparing you to receive the truth you've waited so long to hear. Don't scroll. Something is coming. Something emotional. Something honest. Something meant. Don't scroll, listen to this, because what's unfolding right now in the spiritual realm is directly connected to you, and if your heart starts pounding or your breath deepens as you read this, it's because your soul recognizes this message before your mind does, and your heart needs this right now more than anything. The truth is rising, the energy is shifting, and your soulmate is experiencing something that has taken them by surprise, a spiritual disturbance, a wave of emotional clarity, a crash of realization so intense that it's forcing them to confront everything they ran from, everything they denied, everything they kept buried. They are awakening, not gently, not slowly, but profoundly, and this awakening is pulling them straight back to you. Don't scroll, because what I'm about to reveal will echo deeply inside you. Your soulmate has been going through a period of emotional turbulence that feels like the universe is turning their heart inside out. They've been hit with memories of you at random moments, your smile, your voice, the softness of your presence. And each memory feels stronger than the last, almost like a message, almost like a call. They've been dreaming about you again, not vague dreams but detailed ones. You speaking to them, looking at them, reaching for them, and these dreams leave them waking up breathless, shaken, overwhelmed. They're beginning to realize that the connection they tried to ignore has only grown more powerful. They feel you in moments they don't want to admit. They feel you when they're quiet. They feel you when they're alone. They feel you when they're pretending nothing is wrong. And every time they feel you, their chest tightens, their thoughts scramble, their heart stirs with longing they can't control. Don't scroll, your intuition needs this next part, their emotional walls are collapsing. The defenses they built so carefully, the ones made of fear, ego, pride, uncertainty, are no longer protecting them. They're trapping them. They're suffocating them. They're making it impossible to pretend they don't care. And the universe is amplifying this collapse. Every sign they've ignored in the past is now appearing with undeniable intensity. 1:11 when they think of reaching out. 2:22 when they wonder if the connection is still mutual. 3:33 when they reflect on the lessons they've learned. 4:44 when they feel the longing too strongly to ignore. They are being guided, pushed, prepared for something they can no longer run from. And that something is the truth. Don't scroll, this part will make your spirit feel warm. They've been imagining what it would be like to speak to you again. Not casually. Not lightly. Not pretending everything is fine. They've been imagining real conversation, raw honesty, emotional vulnerability. They've been imagining you listening, your eyes softening, your silence inviting them to open up. They've been imagining confessing everything, the fear they felt, the love they couldn't express, the mistakes they made, the regret they carry. They've been imagining a moment where you finally understand why they disappeared, why they hesitated, why they couldn't step into the connection with a fully open heart. And the more they imagine it, the more they crave it. Don't scroll, your heart is going to feel this next part deeply. They're starting to understand that silence is no longer an option. They can't keep hiding from themselves. They can't keep pretending they're healed from something they never closed. They can't keep acting like what they felt for you wasn't real. And the truth is becoming so loud inside them that it's spilling into their everyday life. People around them notice the shift, the distraction in their eyes, the quiet moments where they drift off, the sadness that flickers across their face when your memory rises, the longing they don't have the strength to disguise. They are living in emotional contrast now. Everything in their world feels dull except the thought of you. Don't scroll, because now we get to the core of the shift. They're afraid. Not of you. Not of love. But of the truth they must finally reveal. They're afraid of being vulnerable. They're afraid of admitting their feelings. They're afraid of exposing the parts of themselves they kept hidden. But they're more afraid of losing you forever. And that fear is becoming the catalyst for their transformation. They're beginning to surrender to the emotional connection instead of resisting it. They're beginning to see you as the blessing they didn't cherish. They're beginning to understand that what you offered wasn't pressure, it was peace. What you wanted wasn't demand, it was depth. What you gave wasn't attachment, it was real love. And now they're terrified that they damaged something sacred. But still, they're being pulled forward. Don't scroll, because this is the moment that will change everything for you. The universe is aligning a moment where their truth will break free. It might start with a dream you both share. It might begin with a sign that shocks you. It might show up as a sudden emotional wave that feels like it came out of nowhere. You may feel them thinking about you intensely. You may sense their energy brushing against your spirit. You may feel an urge to check your phone, to revisit a memory, to sit in stillness. This is the preparation. The thinning of the spiritual veil. The aligning of your hearts. Something is coming. Something honest, something emotional, something long overdue. They are closer than ever to stepping forward with the truth you have waited to hear. Not because the universe forced them, but because their soul refuses to stay silent any longer. Don't scroll. The reveal is approaching, and your spirit already feels it. Don't scroll, listen to this, because what you're about to receive is the final piece your heart has been quietly preparing for, the truth your spirit has been sensing, the awakening you've been feeling in waves, and if your breath catches or your chest tightens as you read this, it's because this message is for you and your heart needs this right now more than ever. Everything leading up to this moment. The heaviness, the memories resurfacing, the emotional waves that hit for no apparent reason, the dreams that felt too real to ignore, has been guiding you toward one powerful truth. Your soulmate is reaching the climax of their awakening, and the truth they've been holding inside is about to burst open in a way neither of you can avoid. They are standing at an emotional threshold, caught between who they used to be and who the universe is shaping them to become, and the pull toward you is stronger now than it has ever been. Don't scroll, because what comes next is something your intuition already predicted. They are feeling the urgency of time. They're feeling the weight of what they didn't say. They're feeling the regret of letting you slip away. They're feeling the emptiness that comes from silencing their heart. They've spent so long trying to forget you, trying to move on, trying to convince themselves that what you shared was a fleeting moment instead of a spiritual connection, but every attempt has failed. They can't outrun the bond. They can't escape the memories. They can't silence their soul. Every day that passes, the truth grows heavier inside their chest, pushing them, urging them, demanding release. And they know that if they don't speak now, if they don't tell you how they truly feel, they may lose the chance forever. Listen to this, don't scroll, because this part will strike somewhere deep inside you. They are scared. Truly scared. Not scared of you rejecting them, not scared of you being angry, but scared of how much they still love you. Scared of how deeply you affected them. Scared of how soft they become when they think of you. You awaken something in them that no one else ever touched, and that kind of awakening leaves a permanent mark. They're afraid of being vulnerable because vulnerability requires honesty, and honesty requires facing wounds they've kept hidden for years. But as frightened as they are, something inside them is stronger now, the love, the longing, the clarity, the spiritual pull they can't deny. The universe has been breaking down their walls piece by piece, stripping away their excuses, forcing them to feel everything they once tried to numb. Don't scroll, your heart needs to hear this. They're preparing to step forward not as the confused, guarded version of themselves you once knew, but as someone transformed. Someone awakened. Someone ready. And this readiness didn't come from convenience. It came from pain, from reflection, from spiritual intervention, from the realization that the connection they had with you was unlike anything they've ever experienced. They've been comparing every person they meet to you without even realizing it. No one feels like you. No one sees them like you did. No one touches their spirit the way you did. No one inspires them the way you did. And now they are beginning to understand why. Because what you shared wasn't a coincidence, it was a divine appointment. You didn't just pass through their life, you disrupted it, awakened it, illuminated it. And now they're finally becoming the version of themselves that can meet you in truth instead of fear. Don't scroll, this next part will hit hard. They're not coming back for closure. They're not coming back for comfort. They're not coming back because they're lonely. They're coming back because they still love you, because the connection never died, because their soul has refused to let go no matter how hard they tried. They want to tell you everything, the real reason they pulled away, the emotions they hid, the dreams they had about you, the way your absence exposed their deepest wounds, the way your presence made them feel safe in a world that has never felt safe to them. They want to tell you they knew they were messing up even as they were doing it. They want to tell you that the silence wasn't because they didn't care, but because they cared so much it terrified them. They want to tell you that losing you was the wake-up call their spirit needed. And they want to tell you that they're ready now, not perfect, not healed overnight, but ready to be honest, to be vulnerable, to be real. Don't scroll, because here is the final truth your spirit has been waiting for. Something is about to shift. You will feel it before you see it. A dream that feels too vivid. A sudden warmth in your chest. A sign that appears at the perfect moment. A sudden emotional wave that makes no sense. These are not coincidences, these are spiritual signals that the reveal is near. The truth they've been holding is rising, and soon it will spill into the physical world. Whether it comes as a message, a call, a dream that pulls you together, or a moment orchestrated by divine timing, the truth is coming. And when it arrives, it will bring clarity, healing, release, or renewal, whatever your soul needs most. Don't scroll. Stay open. Stay grounded. Something long hidden is making its way toward you, and your spirit is already preparing to receive it.